And welcome back, everyone, to the Bulldog Blitz football radio show presented by Two Hats Ranch. We're joined now by Ferris State University assistant coach Grant Caserta. And Coach, first of all, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks. I've been watching some of the other coaches on here, so I'm excited to have my turn.
You got big shoes to fill after we had Coach Parker on here last week.
Yeah, I understand he set a record, which is not a surprise. He's a storyteller by nature and, got some good ones.
Obviously, this past week, a good one here against Wayne State University, kind of unique. Maybe talk about the challenge it presented with the lightning delay and having to come back and play on Sunday.
Yeah, we were kind of watching it all week, hoping that it would just be rain a little bit in the second half, and then the lightning, we just had to kind of wait it out. And it was like we got three options. Either they're going to say it's our game, and they weren't going to do that, and it's a no contest, and we weren't going to do that. So it's like, all right, we're going back to the hotel, grab the post-game meal we were supposed to eat, and then basically just reprogram yourself, and it's Friday night again, and you're going to try to just go through the same routine you always go through.
Maybe talk about how the players really adapted and how they stepped up to the challenge and obviously kind of handled the situation.
Yeah, I mean, they did great. It was, nobody's really been through that situation before, but the guys just rolled with it. There's no complaining. It was just, all right, this is what we're going to do, and we went back to the hotel and everything was real smooth. Kurt Faust did a great job with the logistics, and all the coaches helped, get food and get everything set up and hand out keys. And then it was just like any other road trip at that point. Everyone stayed focused. It was just a little bit longer than normal.
I know you as the linebackers coach here at Ferris State, how nice is it to have some guys that are veteran leaders, whether it's Cepha or Jason Williams, when Connor Neer was around early in the year, maybe what's it been like having some of those guys kind of be the leaders for your group?
Yeah, I mean, Cepha and Jason and Connor especially, those guys have been around a long time, 2 fifth-year and a 6-year guy, so they know the expectations. They're good leaders. They've got the respect of their teammates and their coaches, so it makes it easy for me because I can really coach them on the finer details of playing linebacker. They've got the basics down. They understand the defense. They can bring their teammates along, and we've got some other guys coming up that will definitely benefit from being around those guys too.
Maybe as a whole, talk about the defense and what the play's been like. Obviously, that unit's been kind of tough to score against here over the course of the season.
Yeah, I think obviously we have some room to improve, but we've been happy with what we've seen so far. We've got a lot of talent on that side of the football and a lot of guys that bring different things to the table, which I think makes it hard for offenses because we've got pass rushers and we've got run stoppers and we've got versatile linebackers and good cover guys and hard-hitting safeties. So for us, it's just about executing and trying to get all on the same page, get all 11 guys executing at the rate that we need them to, because our guys play with great effort. They love to hit. They love to run to the ball, which makes it easy. If somebody makes a mistake, somebody's going to be there to clean it up. So you can kind of play a little bit more free that way.
And when you look at a veteran linebacker core that you guys have, and you had some experienced linebackers coming back anyway, and then all of a sudden Connor's back in the mix, and talk about how those guys that were here in the program last year, how they welcomed Connor back and how Connor was able to fit in. That's pretty special.
Yeah, that was the cool thing about our team is in some situations somebody might be intimidated by that, like, oh, this guy's going to come and take my job or cut my reps. All anybody cares about here is winning. So when we can add another good player, even if it's at my position, I'm excited because it makes us as a team better. And, every year there's going to be some injury somewhere. So you need more than just 2 guys to play. And obviously, unfortunately, Connor was the one that got hurt and the other guys were there to pick up the slack until he comes back. So it's just a testament to our guys, Cepha and Jason especially being the older guys, just to not see it as a threat, but be excited about it. This is going to make us better as a team.
Okay, and when you go out in recruiting, and what characteristics are you looking for in a linebacker? So tell people, what makes a great linebacker. What is Grant Caserta looking for when he's going out and recruiting? What are those characteristics that make a great linebacker?
I always like to see guys that have really good instincts, that are quick to the ball. I'm not so caught up on height and weight and 40 time and that kind of thing. You can just tell when you're watching a kid that he's got a nose for the ball. He takes good pass to the ball, and he's got some pop when he gets there. Those are the main things I'm looking for football-wise. And then in addition to that, I'd like them to be a leader or a captain of their team, somebody that can command the respect of their teammates on defense and on offense as well, because those guys are going to have to communicate with everybody, the back end guys, the front end guys. So having guys like that just makes it easy for the defense to operate the way it's supposed to when you've got guys that are out front and they feel comfortable in that role, and they just kind of have that characteristic.
Okay, and that's a good segue into my next question, because when you're a linebacker and you're out there pre-snap, just give like the fans an idea what kind of things are your linebackers looking for when they're trying to get their defense set to get ready for the snap.
Yeah, so the first thing they're going to worry about is their alignment based on formation. So that's going to be like the basic thing, getting lined up right. And then we always have to set the front, so we're telling the D-line where they need to line up, and making any other calls we might have if we have a blitz on, echoing the coverage call, making sure that we're in the right rotation. And then from there, it's reading your keys, whether it's run or pass. Where do I need to go from there? And those are just the very basics. The really good ones can focus on, remembering some formational tendencies that we gave them in our meetings leading up to the game, understanding what might be coming, run or pass, or what type of run. A cut split by a receiver might mean this, or a tight end a little bit wider might mean that. Things like that. Those guys, the really good ones, can process that, and it makes them faster. So that's like kind of what I was saying about the high school kids. Some kids that can do that are a lot faster on the field than they are running a 40. And I'd rather have the kid that has a little bit more instinct and intuition that can really get to the ball, rather than somebody that can just run fast and maybe is going to be a step or two late because they're not reading the key.
How much film are your guys studying as part of what you guys do normally, and maybe how much are they doing on their own? Because you gotta, what you laid out is you got to be pretty knowledgeable in addition to having the physical and characteristics and the intangibles.
Yeah, we meet every day that we're allowed to meet as a group, and we'll watch some of the opponent film and some corrections from practice. And then I don't really have to tell those guys to do it, but they just do. And we can track how much film time people are watching, and every week it's guys with multiple hours of film watch on their own. So I give them a little checklist of things to take a peek at, in terms of what are their tendencies, what are their guys like, what are their play styles, and they can go through that on their own and get a little bit more information than we can give them in the meetings. So I try to keep the meeting short, try to keep their attention, and be really focused on one certain thing during the meeting. And then when they're on their own, they can start to kind of think like a coach on their own and see what they can find. Because we welcome that. There was a game, I won't say who we were playing, but our guys came back and they're like, Coach, every time the right tackle's in this stance right here, it's a pass. And every time he's in this stance, it's a run. And like, we went back and looked at it, and they were right. It was like 100%. And we went into that game and they were calling out run or pass every single down. And it was something that the guys found on their own. We didn't find it. They did, just from their own film study. So those guys, if they can find a little extra edge, or they can get a profile on the guys they're going against, it just gives them a little bit of a leg up.
Yeah, and then talk about you guys as a defensive staff, because each position is coaching and they're driving their guys hard. But then on game day, you guys have to bring it all together, and you guys have to bring it all together in your preparation during the week, of course, too. But you guys got some really strong coaching personalities and some guys with a lot of experience, but you guys really seem to click. Just talk about that chemistry that you guys have as a staff.
Yeah, I think it starts with our defensive staff with, Ryan Hodges and Tony Anise and Tesfa Smith, Tyler Shreve, and the rest of the guys, Owen Schusler and Garrett Pistro, Marcus Remtema, Aaron Murphy, Jordan Jones, all those guys. Everybody loves football. We like being around each other. When we game plan, we have a good time. So it's not a situation where anybody's got a big ego or it's my idea versus yours. So when we're going into game planning and we're putting in installs or planning practice or things like that, we're all kind of pulling in the same direction. And I think that just makes it that much easier when you're going into practice and you believe in the plan that you're putting forth for your guys. Then I think it makes it a lot better for just overall, install and execution, because the coaches are all on board with what's going on.
And then last question for me before we go back to Rob. All the coaches being on board, you guys have been able to keep this coaching staff together for the most part. And, there's going to be some that are going to come and go, but it seems like you guys have been able to really stay tight as a coaching staff.
Yeah, I mean, that's huge. I came here in 2021, and I don't think we've had any full-time people leave since then. And our defensive staff, the core of us has been the same, and we've added a couple guys like Shreve and Jordan Jones, who got done playing, and Marcus, same thing. So it's been really easy. Every year we just come in and everybody knows the personality of the other. We all are kind of on the same page with what we're doing scheme-wise, and we can just work on growing as opposed to trying to get people up to speed. And that just, I think it makes it really easy on us to continue to try to get us on the trajectory we want.
Grant, maybe talk about a little bit about your background. Obviously, your dad was a coach, and then going to Saginaw Valley and playing linebacker and playing in the GLIAC, and how that has helped you, I guess, here at Ferris State.
Yeah, like you said, my dad was a coach. He coached at West Ottawa High School and then Holland Christian High School for a long time. So growing up, I was just always around football. I can remember sitting in my living room with my dad watching VCR tapes of his film and, trying to pick out the numbers on the other team's kids and make scouting reports. And, then I was the ball boy and the water boy and all that stuff. So there was like nothing else that I ever wanted to do but play football. And then as I got older, I realized I wanted to coach. And, Tesvo was my linebackers coach at Saginaw. And he was a formative guy for me because I saw how much fun he had doing his job and, how much fun he made it for us as players. Like, that was something where I'm like, I think I could do that. My dad being a high school guy, I never really was interested in high school. I always wanted to coach in college. So, he was definitely a big part of that and getting me interested in the college game. But yeah, after I got done playing, they let me stay on there and kind of GA'd and then started branching out from there.
I know, obviously now here being in Big Rapids, what's it like being around the Big Rapids community and getting to know a lot of the people here in the town?
Yeah, I love it here. We live just north of town, just about 10 minutes from here. And, the kids go to great schools. They've started working their way up through. My oldest is in 3rd grade and my youngest is starting preschool. So we're starting to meet more and more people in town through different things, through sports, through school, through work and things like that. And my wife really enjoys it here. It's a nice community. It's, safe. There's enough to do around here that we don't get bored with the parks and different things like that, getting outside. And we've just really enjoyed it so far. And, it's a different experience than other places I've been that are a little bit bigger, but I really enjoy it. Life's about the right speed for me around here.
Finally here, we'll talk a little bit about Saturday. What's the preparation, I guess, been like here as you get ready for Michigan Tech on a little bit of a short week after the game at Wayne State this past weekend?
Yeah, Tech's always a tough opponent. I mean, they're super well coached. They got guys that play really hard. They always have good scheme. They've got some really veteran guys on offense. The quarterback and their 3 receivers have been around, it seems like, for a really long time. So they've given us some trouble in the past on offense with certain schemes and, with a couple of big plays they've hit on us. So we're very focused on our preparation, making sure that we're buttoned up because, they on defense, they do a lot of things. They're very multiple. They blitz and stunt and drop guys, and it can be confusing if you're not prepared. So I think everybody's very, very dialed in this week and making sure this is a good week of preparation because, I can remember they came here 2 years ago and it came down to the last possession. It was 28-20 and they had the ball. And, I don't think that we were necessarily that prepared that year for that, maybe looking ahead or, we had just lost a tough game the week before, kind of hung over from that one. So that's not going to happen this year. We're going to be ready. We're going to have everybody focused. And I think the players feel the urgency that with 5 games left, we don't have time to mess around with, overlooking anybody or, skipping out on preparation. We're going to be locked in and we're going to be ready to go.
Grant, thanks for the time. We're approaching, I think, Coach Parker's record. So great work here today, and best of luck coming up on Saturday against the Huskies.
I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
We'll be back with more of the Bulldog Blitz football radio show presented by Two Hats Ranch right after this break.